Welcome back to HYHO. My name is Sam Wallace, and I am a sociologist and former academic research. And I started this channel to teach people at home how to help themselves, learn cool things, and maybe how to help others along the way. And tonight we are joined with a very, very special guest. I've been looking forward to this interview for quite some time now. Finally on the books. We're here tonight with Brian Abrahamson. He is a grassroots legalized cannabis party candidate for Minnesota Senate District 22. And we are happy to have you here tonight, Brian. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm happy to be here.
All right. Well, we have got a lot to chat about tonight. There is a lot going on in politics right now, and I'm interested to hear about what's going on in Minnesota. And for folks at home, maybe we can get a little behind the scenes look on what it actually takes to run in state senate. Sound good to you?
Sounds good.
All right. And sometimes I am joined by my co-star, Gigi the Chihuahua, here at home. So if you have any co-stars too, we welcome them to the show.
They'll
All right.
pop up every once in a while.
Oh, perfect. All right. So, Brian, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and kind of why we're here tonight with you?
Sure, absolutely. I am a direct support professional. I take care of people that have disabilities. I also am a companion for people that have Alzheimer's and such. So basically, I'm in a position of caring. I care about people and I care for people.
All right.
And like you said, I'm running for Minnesota State Senate in District 22. We're kind of tucked in the southwest corner of Minnesota. A lot of farming communities, stuff like that. So farming is a big issue, along with, of course, education and healthcare and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. So being tucked in that corner there of Minnesota, from that perspective, are things pretty homogenous throughout the state, or are there different issues affecting different parts of the state that we might be able to focus on tonight?
Yeah, there's different issues, of course. Unemployment, like I said, healthcare is a big issue because there are thousands of people without healthcare right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like we need Medicare for all. Basically, we need to have everybody covered. People that don't have jobs don't have healthcare, or they're paying thousands of dollars to get healthcare just to get in to see a doctor whenever they need to.
Yeah, those plans aren't really ideal for anybody right now. Even if you're making a nice income, it's still a struggle out there. So I guess that leads us into this next question here. What exactly are your platform points? What are you representing as a state senate candidate? What's your platform?
My platform is simply Medicare for all.
Mm-hmm.
Tuition-free education for basically public college. Like I said, farming is a big issue. Basically, getting subsidies to the small farmers that need it.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, legalizing cannabis is a big issue that about 62% of the people want to have legalized. So why we haven't gotten it yet? It's a Republican issue basically at this point. Basically, also infrastructure is a big part of my campaign.
Mm-hmm.
It has been ever since I ran for state senate back in 2016. Mm-hmm. My message has been clear and consistent ever since 2016.
Okay, so if the messaging has been clear and consistent, it looks like reform in the way you want it to happen hasn't quite occurred. So you're continuing to fight the good fight to have, I would call, the voices not yet heard come to life and take center stage. Is that right?
That's basically right. Basically, right now, the Republicans own the state senate, uh, and they're
Mm-hmm.
making it very tough to pass things like healthcare reform and stuff like that. Basically,
Okay.
it's written in their literature for their party that they do not want to pass Medicare for all. It's actually in their literature, and I mean that's just very telling on how how hard we have to fight to get that passed in Minnesota.
So Minnesota is typically a Republican state. Is that what you would say? Does that go for recent memory over the past few elections?
I would say the state overall is for the most part, I would say liberal.
Okay, my mistake on that. I apologize.
No, that's fine. I mean, I think we lost the Senate, uh, basically because we they lost trust after Obama basically was
Mm,
was uh, was elected. Uh, a lot of a lot of seats went to Republicans, unfortunately, and
mm.
hopefully that changes here in 2020. But overall, I would say that we're pretty liberal for the most part.
Hmm.
Uh, but in this district, it's very conservative. So it is hard
Okay.
to reform people in this area. It is
Hmm.
very hard to get the message out to the people that need to hear it and really look at what our current Republican incumbent has been doing, basically.
So that is a great idea to think about the candidate, your opponent you're running against. You said they're an incumbent candidate, right? So that means they've
Right.
previously served for an amount of time and they're running again. So how is your opponent different from you?
Pretty much in every aspect. No, uh,
Draw the photo, flip it over, right?
pretty much. Like I said, they're against Medicare for all.
Mm-hmm.
They are not for the Green New Deal that I would like to have passed. I'm
Mm-hmm.
very much for solar, wind, and and basically renewable energy, but
Mm-hmm.
they are not for any of that. They're for the big corporate farms
Mm-hmm.
and basically passing legislation to what they call uh, lowering like restrictions on
Okay.
on stuff. So uh, yeah,
So I have family myself in Minnesota, and if I'm not mistaken, it's called the land of 10,000 lakes, right?
right, yep,
So there is, from my perspective, there are a lot of environmental issues that are in play in Minnesota because of like the massive bodies of water and all the nature that goes along with it and the wildlife species that we might have to protect if things don't get better from where they are now. And I find that fascinating to think about because being a desert dweller most of my life, living in Las Vegas, we didn't really think about the environment in the same way that other people do in other states, much less like farming. We definitely didn't have farming in Casino Town, right?
right.
So how would you be able to help kind of get the ball rolling or sell the idea of the Green New Deal for people who are really kind of against it?
Basically, I would work with like minded individuals. There are others that want the Green New Deal in the state right now. So I would just maybe work with them,
Mhm.
maybe have them talk to that with people that they've worked with before in the Senate, and maybe cultivate a bill that would maybe get amended, maybe just to maybe uh, get closer and closer to that Green New Deal.
Well, I appreciate you putting that into your platform. I think time has run out for us to really have opinions on the issue. Regardless of anyone's opinions, drastic action is needed to see our species in the next 30, 50, 100 years. So I appreciate that you're making that kind of front and center on your platform, along with the other important issues you spoke of. And so you mentioned there writing bills for legislation, right? And working with other people to garner change in the political and legal system there. So can you tell us from your perspective, and not my perspective as a voter, what does it actually take to do a political campaign or to be a state senator? And how long is that process?
I guess for me it's been like 4 years now, because like I said, I ran for Minnesota State Senate back in 2016, and I'm still running now. Uh, Basically, I mean, there's a lot of nooks and crannies when it comes to this. Uh, Basically, it's about going to the Secretary of State website, seeing when the elections are, seeing when the deadlines are to file to run for any office. Basically, everything should be detailed. For Minnesota, it's detailed. This is when you file. This is where you go to get the paperwork to file. This is where you go to file. I mean, basically, they give you like a week to file, and it's a certain week, and I think it was like March. I think is when we filed, for state senate. But basically, anything that you run for, it's gonna give you deadlines to file, what to do, when to do it, stuff like that. So I would definitely start with that. But basically, cultivating a platform. Basically, mine was based on Bernie Sanders, and stuff like that. So basically, you have to get a following. You have to get basically get approval from your friends, family, whatever. So I mean, it is definitely a big, huge process, because political things like this are very serious.
So I'm interested to hear about the Senate side of things, because my first guest was actually a mutual friend of ours, Valencia Canales, and she's considering running for state rep in Texas. And what I understood from that conversation was, you got to decide what you're running for, right?
Right.
And then know your issues you stand for. And then you go do the political research on the state secretary's website to look at the requirements. So you have to apply, you have to send in paperwork. I heard from Valencia's interview that you also have to submit like a fee, a registration fee. What do we call that? And does it apply at the Senate level as well?
Yeah, it does. I think our fee was like $100. It's just a filing fee to get
oh my goodness
to get you on the ballot and
okay.
And I think different levels have different fees. But like I said, it's basically get you on the ballot to get you registered, and I mean, it takes time and stuff to do that.
So are you required to fundraise a certain amount from constituents or gain enough signatures for this task of running for state senate?
Basically, it depends on what party you want to run for. Like in Minnesota, they it's mostly a two-party system, unless you have two, other parties.
Okay.
In Minnesota, like I said, I'm running as a grassroots legalized cannabis party candidate.
Hmm.
That's a new major party in Minnesota. So we didn't have to go out and get signatures, which is good because of the COVID situation that we're in right now. It'd be very difficult to get out and get those signatures and stuff like that. I think now, though, I mean, you can probably do it digitally, like how we did in the Green Party to get on the ballot in
Hmm.
Minnesota. Um, but like I said, we do have the grassroots legalized cannabis party. We do also have another cannabis party. It's a new major party, the legalized marijuana now party.
Okay.
So it's interesting that we have two cannabis parties right now. But if you have a major party, you don't have to get the signatures. You just pay the fee, and you're good to go. But if you
Hmm.
do run like a green or independent or any other party, you have to get signatures. You can't
Okay.
bypass by a fee.
So,
And I think it's like 1,000 signatures or something like that.
okay. So does your party and the legalized cannabis now party, do you support each other, or is it seen as more of a competition?
It's not really a competition, but we don't really work together.
Okay, so it's separate things.
Right.
Okay. And
We were looking at maybe hopefully combining the two, but
uh,
that doesn't sound like it's gonna happen.
okay. And so I know there's been a number of changes to the way politics are handled in 2020 due to the COVID situation. They mentioned that being unable to obtain signatures if required is one kind of obstacle. What is the unique situation of running for political office during COVID look like? What are some obstacles and how are you able to creatively overcome those?
Well, when I wanted to run for this selection cycle, I wanted to go out and campaign, like go out and shake every hand. You can't do that. Uh,
Hmm.
Basically, uh, I wanted to go out and do a lot of rallies and stuff like that.
Hmm.
There's a lot of restrictions on that, so I mean, you can only have like maybe 25 people at a time, which for me would be a good size, thing. But it's
Mm.
very hard to get people to come out and yeah, it's very hard to get people to come out for anything anymore when it comes to being in a group.
Yeah.
So and door knocking, I mean, it's going to be kind of tough to do that too because of the mask mandates, and you don't want to scare people off either.
Hmm.
So right now we're going to be concentrating mostly on like phone banking and text banking, and maybe doing some political ads on Facebook. Hopefully, maybe doing some newspaper ads and stuff like that. So
Hmm.
there's some work around there, but it's definitely not what I envisioned my campaign to be when I first started to campaign back in like January.
Oh yeah, I also didn't picture being stuck in my house for almost months at a time and forgetting what human contact was like.
Right, right.
So I was joking with Valencia, how do you get a Texan out of the house to a rally? You bring barbecue. How do you get a Minnesotan out of the house to attend a rally if COVID wasn't involved?
Lutefisk, I think, is what. I don't know.
Well, I'm lutefisk. Can you say that again?
I don't. It's like a fish. From what I heard, it's not very good, but it's very popular in this area. You know,
Okay.
or you do like hot dishes and stuff like that, and you know try to do you know bake-offs and stuff like that, maybe. But that'd be, I mean, like I said, even that is very hard in the COVID time. So
Well, that's a word I'm familiar with, the hot dish there. And I just had to say the Minnesota part because I have a lot of family in Minnesota and North Dakota, and it's just, you're back when you're, oh, don't you know? I just think it's precious. But all that aside, so you're overcoming some obstacles there, and you said, running this time looks different from how you ran last time, but you said earlier you were also, you're a service providing professional caretaker. You take care of people, you care for people. But what made you just one day go, you know what, I should run for state senate? That sounds like the path for me. Are you crazy or are you a genius because of it?
I'm somewhere in between. I think
Okay.
maybe a little bit of both.
All right.
But basically, I started running because of Bernie Sanders' message, basically having people, of every type run for office.
Okay.
Just the regular guy going off, like me, basically being a direct support professional, just running for office and being just a regular guy, a genuine guy, not a corporate politician or a career politician running for office, basically.
So on that note, for your campaign, where does the money come from? Right? I've read some posts on your social medias and stuff, but let's be clear to our audience. How does the money and what you stand for coincide?
Basically, I don't take money from PACs, special interest or lobbyists. My funds come from just regular people, small personal donations from individuals in Minnesota and elsewhere. I mean, I've had people donate from California, Texas, everywhere.
So, considering the circumstances of living our digital lives now because we can't communicate in person with each other, how is technology enabling and boosting up the donation rates and how fast and how much we can raise donations as political candidates?
I mean, it's very hard in this in the COVID time because of the economic impact that we have right now. Not a lot of donations are coming in. I mean, which is understandable. I understand that, but basically, I mean, I have a CrowdPack website, and also on my website, you can pay through PayPal. I mean, it's very easy. It's very user friendly, very quick, and depending on how you send it, it gets to me within a reasonable amount of time. So
okay. Do you have one of those like 5-digit numbers I can randomly text in the middle of the night and accidentally send all my money to?
I don't have anything like that.
When we make those really good decisions.
Yeah.
Okay. I think in all the people I talk to on the show, looking at how technology is shaping current life and increasing our ability to meet our goals is of high interest to me. And it looks like in a time where things have slumped down and maybe all of us don't have our extra spending cash, is it the communication with people where the message needs to be heard by more? Will that be what helps increase donations, or would it be more and accessible in a different way types of donating that might increase donations more?
I'm not sure, but I think at this point we're more concentrating on getting volunteers. So maybe not volunteering money, but volunteering time. If it's not phone banking, we can we can definitely use people to go out and into the community safely, with masks, and put, you know, our literature on people's doors, basically, and just let them read it over from there. Basically, just put it in a
Mm-hmm.
bag, put it on the doorknob, walk away, and then they can read it on their own. So basically, it's stuff like that that we have to consider, but basically, time right now, uh,
Mm-hmm.
volunteering is what we need to complete our grassroots movement.
So about how many volunteers would be the ideal amount to aid you in your pursuits? All of them is a
I'm not
great
getting
answer.
anything right now. I'm sorry.
I said about how many volunteers do you think it will take to successfully meet your people needs?
I'm still not hearing
Oh,
anything. I'm sorry.
oh goodness. All right, let me do a quick troubleshoot here. Throw on my glasses. All right. Is this working for you? No? Okay. All right. Is that okay? Oh, goodness. All right. I'm not sure what's going on tech-wise. Let me do some troubleshooting here. Give me just one moment. All right, we're going to take a short break while we address some quick tech issues here. We'll be right back.